Okay, hi everybody. This is part 2, so exercise 2 is our database class, CSC 4710. And so what we're going to do in this assignment is basically install MySQL server locally on our machine, and then we're just going to do a test query. So the steps in this program and the steps in this exercise, first is to download the MySQL server. So I downloaded it from just this download page. I chose Windows. It's a little longer install than you think. There's a tutorial right here that I went through. Basically just shows all the default settings. But one of the things that once you install it, so I installed mine inside of programs, I believe. Or actually, maybe it was my local disk. Yes, right here. And then so the server is what you're looking for into the bin. One thing that has that is really easy to use, so you can interact with it through the shell, or you can just use this workbench that comes off. This is a Windows GUI program. But yeah, so this is what we're going to be using today. I can show you some of the shell as well. So that's step 1. Step 2 is to download the 2 files from the test2 and this driver file from the GitHub. So yeah, I mean that's what we did last time. So I believe it's this one. You can just click this download button, and then test2. You can download as well. Oh, this is the class. So as he said, you can hit raw and then save page as. So once you have those, bring them down to your folder, because we're going to use those too. So I saved mine in my workspace. So here's test2 and the class executable. Now, next step is to start up your server. So there's first going to be in as root. Then you're going to want to make this John user. So I've already made it here. I can delete him if you. So I can go into here. This is what it looks like. Go to users and privileges. You can see there's John right there. So let me delete him real quick. That's okay. Alright, and so the steps here is to create this John, and this is the code right here that you want to use. So you can just do it again right here. And that should create a user, give him a password, and give him privileges. And he connects via localhost. So hit this button to execute that, and you can see down here we have success. So if you go now into users and privileges, well, let me should be in here, but he's not. Might have to refresh or go home. He's back out here now, and now you can see he's here. That's a little weird, but yeah. And if you go into his roles, he's got a bunch of privileges because we gave that to him. There you go. And so now we want to connect via John's credentials. So either through the shell, the workbench. Workbench, all we have to do is do that. The shell. So I believe there's a command that you can write to connect. You want to be in the path where you saved your server into the bin. And then I believe I do MySQL, lowercase. And then the user, you want to connect with John, and the password would be what we gave him. pass 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're in, and then you can run the commands here instead of running them up here. So what we're going to do, it's whatever preference you have, so just really easy to see it. So what we're going to do now is create a database. So if you look in schemas, you can see your databases here. I'm going to quickly delete this real quick. And then you can see, so here's the code that we're going to run. Let me just copy it all in. So the first one is creating the database. That's the name of the database, testDB. And then we're going to use start testDB and create type number, and it has 3 different columns. So email, name, and country. And then next, what we're going to do is we're going to insert into values, so into number, and we're going to get the values. 3 values. So this is basically making 3 different accounts, and then select all of the members. So if you run it, now we should see that there are 3 people in our database right here, and we should have schema coming up. I'm not sure exactly why it keeps not updating, but yeah, now it's back. There it is. So if you go into tables, you can see under members columns we have 3 types. Alright, so now we have our database set up. So now what we're going to do, now that we have our local MySQL database, we're going to test it a little bit. So first thing we want to do, well, we're going to be using this test file, test2 that we downloaded. So I can go through the code. First thing that we want to do is, so I have it open up here in Visual Studio Code. So you want to change this get connection and make sure the password and the user is John and the password, and the testDB is here. I can go through this code in a second. So that's step 4. And then step 5 is to run the code. So I can go through what this does. It basically tests the starts the database up, and it does a query, and then it adds some new members, and then it queries again. Yeah, so first let's compile it and run it. So if you go to your command prompt, so you want to be where your test file is, test2.java, and then we're going to use these 2 commands, these similar commands. So this is the Windows one, it has a semicolon instead of a colon. So first we're going to compile test2.java. As you can see, it's good, there's a space, nothing happened because we just compiled it, no errors. Now we want to run it. So you're specifying up here, you're using the driver and the file name, and now that we're just running the output file. Alright, so this is the output that we are expecting. So right here we are grabbing the 3 people from the database, and then we added a new person, and he's down here, Newton John. So let me explain the steps of the code. So this is the code file. It's a Java file. It's written in Java, and it's using SQL to query from the database. So these first imports, we're going to need all these SQL libraries to make sure we can connect Java and SQL. And then so first, our private variables. So we have a connection object named connect, a statement object named statement, prepared statement named prepared statement, and a result set object named result set. And they're all set to null at first. So connection, we're going to use all 4 of these objects for various different tasks. So the first one, in our main, we have this try. At the end, we basically catch any exceptions. That's really all it is. used for. So first thing we're going to do, as you saw, that was the first just output cout print line. First, we're going to use our connect object named connect, and we're going to add a connection. So driver manager is up here, and that's just basically works with the driver, which we are saying putting here. We're having the parameters of the user. We're logging in as John with the password, and this is the format that you want to point to the database called testDB. That's a MySQL server. It's on your local machine. So once this connect variable has connection, we can issue statements. So as this comment says right here, we want the SQL basically to query, and this is how we do it. We do it through statements. So to that connection, now that you have a connection, you can add a statement. So to add the statement, and we're going to set that equal to statement. So now what you want to do is you want to use that statement and save what you get back from the result, the query inside result set. So the query that we're going to use, so execute query. So a statement is created and it is connected to our connection. And now we want to use the query on the statement. So this is the query right here. Select all the members. So it's going to select all the rows from the database that we have. So all of our members, we named it members because they're all different people, because that's just what our database holds. So they should all be stored in result set now. And then now we're going to call a method called result set. So I'm going to skip down to this method, write result set. And really all it is doing is, so it's right here. Really all it's doing is just printing out all the columns of our different rows. And you could see that in our output. Remember, this is what it looks like. So we have different names and all three of their columns. So as in the result set, remember that's our what we got back from the query. We're going to grab the string, grab the column name, grab the column email, grab the column country, and we're going to save them into a respective string. So now that we have those strings saved, we're going to just print them all out and then print an extra line. So you'll see chunks of different rows, chunks of different columns, and then an extra line. And we have it in a while loop, so as long as there is another row, we're going to just keep going. And yeah, so that's basically what result set does. So if we go back up here, that's our first test, and then our second test, we're going to, it's actually just this part. It's similar because at the end we write results, but what we do here is we add another person, so we're adding a new member. This is our prepared statement object, and so similar to how we did this up here, we're going to do that right here. So what this does is it lets us add a new row. So the first value, 1, which is this, is the name, and the second one is the email, and the third one is the country. So there's 3 strings that we're setting into this statement that we're going to use a connection object to send it to the database. And then after that, the function .execute update will basically send it over. And then similar to right here, we just want to execute a query. So we're going to grab all the rows again, save them into using our statement object, and then save them into result set. And then next line, we're going to write all the results out using our write result set function, and we're going to pass in result set. And again, that goes down here, takes in result set, and prints out basically all the rows and all the information. So at the end, if we don't catch any exceptions, we're just going to close the connection, and that's our entire program. Right here, this program, this method we're not really using right now at the moment. And then so close, what that method, function does is it basically closes each individual object that we created. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's the second exercise in this CSC 4710 class. Thanks for watching, and that's a wrap.